Hi, this is Brian French, and welcome to our podcast, Making an Extra 50K a Year with Your Night Job. This podcast is going to be broken into a number of different sections. We're going to have a brief outline of some tips and strategies, and so it's going to be a bit of a PowerPoint just to get some general ideas and topics kind of covered. And then we're going to go into our particular eBay accounts, and we're going to look at eBay. We're going to look at different products. We're also going to be looking at different marketing ideas of how to grow your store, how to build an audience, and how to grow your business. And then finally, the last part is I'm going to switch and I'm going to look at the live chat mode at the end. And so when I conclude my remarks, I'll be looking at the live chat that you have next to you there in the YouTube streaming. And from there, we will be able to communicate a little bit, and I'll hopefully be able to answer some of your questions. So welcome. My name is Brian French. I have a number of kind of careers. I'm a marketing professional. I do public relations. And I also have a pretty active relationship and accounts with eBay. I have two particular niches, and one niche I've had for probably 3 years plus, and the other one I started in January of this year. So I have two eBay stores, and you'll be looking at them in a few minutes. But first, let's talk a little bit about the world of reselling as I see it. And I'm sure everybody's got different opinions, but this has been my experience, and I'm going to give you what I feel are kind of my best ideas and advice in getting going. First of all, when you look at any type of business, it's all dependent upon you and not me. So I'm going to, the success that I've had to own, and the success that you have is going to be your property as well. So I'm going to give you my best tips and some insight into my experience, but it is really dependent upon you. And this is certainly not something that's easy type of get-rich-quick scheme. It is actually pretty challenging. So let's look at our outline here. First of all, you have to understand that in today's marketplace, you have to provide an exceptional product for a very low price with excellent service. So that is what's demanded, and I think it's kind of the Amazon standard, where people expect every transaction to be pretty much perfect, for the goods to be perfect, to be the lowest price, and to be delivered quickly. So quite a number of expectations and hurdles we have to meet to have success. And you have to have a high level of success. 90% success rate is not adequate. You have to have like a 99% success rate. So for that reason, and the hard work involved, it's really not for everyone. Because, it's responsibility that you'll be taking to meet people's needs and those expectations of having smooth and transactions that are of high integrity. So there's no shortcuts to that, and it is a very demanding marketplace. The third issue is you certainly need basic computer skills. You'll need some photography skills. You'll need to look at this niche a bit different. I suggest that people just don't be a buy, sell, thrifter, kind of low dollar amount reseller, because as you can imagine, if something is very easy to get into and people can source stuff very cheap, then those type of goods will be in significant supply on eBay and other platforms. So one of the things that you're going to need is to find goods and source goods that are of that are in demand and that people will pay, a good deal for. And you'll be looking at my store and, possibly some other examples. So you're going to need all these skills. You're going to need to put the time in. You need the energy and, energy to complete listings to create listings on eBay can be a little bit tedious. You have to take pictures. You have to give a thorough description. And again, everything has to be very, very accurate. So we'll show you our listings in a little while. Also, you have to do a tremendous amount of learning, and I suggest you do the learning up front. And this is where YouTube is very helpful in this area. There's a good number of YouTube eBay resellers that are out there and that you can look at. And some of the ones that I like, you look at Hearts Picker. He's deals in a lot of similar items that I deal in. He's been doing it for 5 or 10 years, makes, grosses probably a couple $100,000 a year. But very astute. I mean, you really have to buy exceptionally high quality goods, in my opinion, to get high dollar prices, because people are not going to pay a lot for a common good. So that's part of the learning curve that everybody has to look at, is you got to know what's valuable in the secondary market. Now, some of the items you will be able to source and they will be new, but probably a vast majority of items will be used or pre-owned. So in some regards that has dilemmas. So if it's electronics, you'll have to test those electronics to make sure that they are working in proper order. So again, the basic ground rules is that none of this will be easy. It will be hard work, but it will be dependent upon you and your skills and your efforts. You can move into it relatively gradually, and we'll look at certain strategies to get going. Again, the marketplace is extremely competitive. What I believe you should do is focus on a niche you have a competitive advantage in. And so everybody has an advantage. If you're an expert in car repair, you're going to know a lot more about car parts than other people. And hopefully you have the ability to source and know values and to develop an understanding of what a good deal in purchasing a product would be, and have the ability to look quickly online to see what the sell side might be. So again, we can't explore every skill you might have or every experience you have, but call upon your hobbies. If you're into fly fishing, maybe that fly fishing and will be your niche. I mean, there's reels and rods that go for $500, $800, $2,000. So whatever your specialty is and whatever experience you have, I say call upon it, because you're going to need it in things like sourcing. Sourcing is, in essence, buying a good for resale. And obviously you have to know that an item is authentic, it's in good quality, it's a good brand, let's say, that's in demand, and that will fulfill the need that it's designed to do. So it's going to work properly. So you're going to need, a fair amount of knowledge about all the products that you sell. So if you sell clothing, you're going to learn a lot about clothing. You're going to learn fabrics. You're going to learn how to tell a pair of blue jeans that are a woman's blue jeans versus a man's blue jeans by just looking at it, or by knowing that the pockets are longer in a man's blue jeans than a woman's blue jeans, or the buttons are on the different side of a blouse or a shirt. So these are all things you need to learn about to know your product and know your product well. You're also going to look to develop contacts, and contacts are important because you're going to want to have an advantage of being able to reach people effectively. Now, eBay has obviously an infrastructure of buyers, and you're going to be calling upon that. But if you can create another resource and send people to your niche products, then you'll be making more money. And in fact, if you ever needed to or wanted to go off of eBay and to send people directly to your website and cutting them out of the fee, then you need contacts and a large number of prospective buyers. So I'll show you a little bit about what I'm doing, what I've done in that area to reach a target market. But in today's world of social media, you should always look to have people follow what you do and say, okay, in your niches. So maybe you're into, art or antiques, or about pocket knives, or that's the type of knowledge that's important. Unfortunately, these are the type of things that they don't teach you in business school, right? They don't teach you how to be an expert in a niche. But if you're going to sell into a niche, you need to know that niche as well as anybody, and hopefully better. And the other thing is you're going to have to love your niche, because you're going to be working in it. So this should be an issue where this is driven by stuff you enjoy doing. So embrace your passions and niches and hobbies and make money off of your hobbies. It only makes sense to make a career, a semi-career or a career out of something you enjoy doing. So let's look at some other strategies. To achieve your financial goals, you may need more than one niche. So I have 2 stores, and I actually have a couple of different niches that I serve as well. So it's not, it's something that is not given that if you do one thing and one thing well, then you're, satisfied with that. So you just may not make enough money. So you need to look at other niches or other specialties to grow your business. I have 2 eBay stores. So one meets a niche in clothing and another in a specialty area. But let's look at the ways you make money as a reseller. You're actually going to look to buy low, obviously, and sell high. And when I mean low, I mean very low. So it's common that people that are in the clothing niche, that you're buying clothes and high quality clothes for $2 or $3 or $4 or $5. So if you buy something for $5, your goal is to sell it most likely for $20 to $25. If you buy something for $5 and you sell it for $12, then that's a pretty tough road to make any real significant money, because the number of transactions that you're going to have to do is huge. So I suggest that you need at least 300 to 500% markup. And sourcing goods, you also could go to auctions, you could look at clearance items, you can bulk buy. A lot of items you can buy in large amounts. Like I buy a product in a 10-pack for $10, and then I sell each one of those items for $10. Okay, so it's a 1,000% markup minus some expenses. But a lot of people don't want 10 of an item. They want 1 of an item, and they want good service, and they want it shipped immediately. So you can buy in bulk and then break down those bulk items into smaller units that people want. You also want to make a unique product, or look to make a unique product. So looking at the world of all business and products, everything's competitive out there. You can imagine, goods are sourced and manufactured around the world. But if you come up with something unique and it turns into something popular, or you have the ability to find the prospects for that product better than other people, then you can sell that. And I have products I've sold to a particular niche, and I've sold 1,000 products to a market that most people probably never thought existed. Um, but with things like social media, you can target. You can target a particular audience. Another strategy is actually to take consignments. And so usually the commission rate that you'll earn is half of the proceeds. So you want to deal in higher ticket items. So I suggest that if you're going to do consignments, don't do it for items less than, probably $50. And hopefully it's, $100, $500 or more. So I've taken a couple consignments and, they're high ticket items. So that's another way to make money. Now with consignments, you're not actually buying the goods, you're selling it for other people. But you have to make sure that you have the ability to deliver that product, because you cannot make an error or cancel a transaction on eBay very few times, or else your account will be suspended and it'll be game over. Let's look at things like what you need to do to be successful. In my opinion, you need to be able to source goods and make a large amount of return on those items. So in general, you need at least a 300 to a 500% rate of return. Now, a lot of people gravitate to low price goods, and they source goods at what's called the bins or thrifting, where they may only pay $1 for an item. But if you're paying $1 for an item and only getting $5, $6 for the item, well, that's a great percentage rate of return, but it's only making $5. So in my store, I don't usually sell an item less than $20. Probably a small percentage of items I have are less than $15, let's say. It's basically items I want to get rid of. So you need to make enough money per transaction, as well as making a 300-500% rate of return. The fees associated with having an eBay account is that you'll have a store fee, you'll have a listing fee, and commissions. You'll have PayPal fees, and you'll have to cover the things like shipping and cost of delivering goods to your buyers. So you can see 10, 13, 15% plus another maybe 20% to source your goods. So eBay makes the easy money, and PayPal does too, because they're not having to really perform much. So usually sourcing goods is, you can see is usually 20-30% of your proceeds, and then you have these other expenses. Some of the equipment that you might need, obviously you're going to need a computer, you're going to need to be able to print postage. You do not want to, in my opinion, you do not want to go to post office and get in lines, especially around the holidays, to ship goods. So what I do with my goods is I'll ship them and have them ready for the postman just outside my door. So they pick up every day and take stuff and scan them right at my front door. So very convenient. Other things are you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have errors. You're gonna have returns. And in some cases, the return postage you'll have to pay. So that'll actually be a loss that you take in the postage. If the other person, if it's something that didn't fit, then you can usually have the seller, the buyer pay for the return postage. But sometimes you concede, and they'll find something that is tiniest flaw that they find to try to get back their shipping costs. So they know how to try to recover some of their shipping costs, and sometimes you simply have to eat it. What's required on eBay is really 100% success rate and 100% satisfied customers. So that's the goal. You're going to have people that have unrealistic demands. You're going to make a mistake, and then when that happens, you're going to have to be able to resolve problems usually take a bit of a financial hit and make it right with the buyer. Some of the other strategies, so there's buying and selling a product. So you buy it for $5, sell it for $25, and you do that a lot of times, and you do it on eBay and you make money. Another way is to create a product. Now, most people on eBay don't go this path, and I think it is something that people should always look at. There's an industry in my world, in my opinion, that is kind of like mini manufacturing. That's what I call it. And what it is making a product from home that's unique and services a particular niche. So there's things available today that you can make high quality products out of. So you can make t-shirts at home. You could buy a heat press. I make decals. I make high quality art prints. So I have a large scale printer. And when I mean large scale, I mean 24 inches. I can do poster size prints, not anything that can be done on a desktop. If something can be done easily at home, then it won't have value and you won't be able to make much money. But I sell my posters probably $25 plus shipping. And so it's, maybe $1 paper and ink. And so that's an example of products that you can create. But get creative. You could buy a laser and personalize items. You can do trophies. You can do a lot of things that, there's no limit to the creativity that you could apply to service niches. But it has to be relatively easy to make. It has to be scalable. You got to be able to make 50 or 100 of them if you had to. It has to be hard for some other people to duplicate or deliver to a target market. So if you're able to reach the target market better than your competitor, then you'll get all the business and they won't. You should have your target market identified. So if you're into fly fishing, or if you're selling those type of products, you should have a group on Facebook that deals with fly fishing, and you should have hundreds, if not thousands, of people in that fly fishing group. And then when you have a fantastic fishing, bamboo fishing fly rod and a Orvis reel, that you can sell that to the market and be easy and fun. So you want to look at niche products that sell. And meaning is, a lot of times I don't always know which products that I sell will be in demand. But whatever does sell, feed that product, because you don't need to understand why people are buying it. That all you have to know is that they are. So some of the things that I've seen that have been motivations to buy a custom product could be something like pride, ego, and loss. And so maybe you do prints of, large scale prints of dogs that were passed away, or that they're engraved in glass, or, again, it's people have an emotional attachment to certain hot buttons. So, your goal is to find it. I'm not going to find everybody's niche today, but I feed pride and ego a fair amount in some of my niches. But the stronger the emotional attraction to something, the more important it will be. So you can imagine people that bought the Make America Great Again hats. Okay, so there was, obviously that turned into a commodity, but there was a strong emotional pride. Regardless of your political leanings, that was a product, and it was an emotionally driven, and anybody could have sold those. So instead of making a product, let's look at the eBay supply demand. To make it in this world, you need to be able to source high quality, high demand products at a low price, which you would not think would be easy. And it isn't. So you need to know what is the best, highest quality items that are out there in the marketplace that you can buy the cheapest. So this could be going to thrift stores like Goodwill and Salvation Army. It could be going to consignment shops and knowing your brands better than the people who are listing the consignments. It could be going to auctions, yard sales, storage lockers. All have competition. And, I've made a good deal of money in this area, but it is work. I would say that my success rate is probably one. I'll look through 250 items at a thrift store before I buy one. Okay? So, work. That's hard work. But, if you find a $250 Zenga or Canali suit, then, kind of worth it. So that doesn't happen every day, but that's obviously, you got to know what a great product is when you see it. Your products must be able to be shipped at a reasonable cost, and obviously they can't break in shipping. So if they're super fragile, you can't do antiques, you can't do furniture. You can do ceramics, you can do collectibles. Antiques is very tough. I was an antique dealer for 20 years. I find that market to be problematic because there aren't enough buyers in this newer generation than before. There's more sellers than buyers. Also, your products must function properly. So if you do like electronics, you're selling vintage stereo equipment, that turntable and cassette deck have to work perfectly, and you need to be able to test it, know how to test it to make sure. You can't just hope that it works and send it on, because what you're going to get is negative feedback and people are going to be disappointed. So you're going to have to go through an item and make sure it works correctly. So if you do even things like if you do DVDs or video games, you're going to need to know that video game doesn't lock up in minute 5, or the movie doesn't go blank and after 22 minutes. So because you're going to be responsible for the quality of that product. If you do buy an item and it does have flaws, and we've all had items that have flaws, you do have to disclose them entirely and price it accordingly. But if it's a high ticket item, it's got a flaw in it, some people can accept that. It's just that you have to disclose it. And this is our final slide here. You also want to look at creating your own demand, which is getting rid of the middlemen. And maybe you source a product and you're able to sell it to a distributor. So maybe you're able to source car parts and then able to sell used car parts back to somebody else who buys used car parts. So again, I'm not going to be able to give everybody solutions within their niches or what they can do, but you have to look at that as particular areas that may be an issue with some people. You have to, if you're going to be dealing with creating your own demand, you have to have a large group of qualified prospects to sell your products to. Or maybe you have a retail store. Okay, so if you have somebody who has a retail store that could place items for you, then that obviously makes sense. Or you could have a website. This area, niche marketing via Facebook groups and boost posts, is probably the most exciting new area in marketing today. It's something where you're able to take a little ad or a niche product and then have a super tailored targeting to a particular niche. So there's a lot of different features within the Facebook marketing and ad programs, and actually it's so much better than things like Google pay-per-click. You're able to give pictures of your items. You're able to send them to a page. I do sell products via my Facebook groups and boost posts, and then people buy directly there. Okay, so that's the outline that I wanted to discuss with you of the strategy. And let me just talk to you directly here now. Okay, so I'm back here, and what I'm going to be doing next is giving you a tour of our website, our eBay stores, and some of the things that we're doing to grow our niches and to develop our stores. We'll show you a little bit of some of the success and that we've had to kind of whet your interest a little bit. Again, it's hard work, and the more you put into it, the better. If you have a spouse or family members that can help you in your store, and if it's something you enjoy doing, then this may be something for you. But let's look at our eBay store, and at the end of this, we'll open it up for some questions through the live chat. So I'm sure people have questions, but stay tuned, and we'll handle that appropriately. So let's go to our store. Okay, so our store is called Tampa Bay Shopper, and you can see this is the title of our store, and you can see how many feedback messages we have. So we have 241 positive feedback, and 100% positive feedback in our store. And now we can kind of look to scroll through our store. So some of this is some of our inventory. So I sell some industrial equipment for a large dollar amount, and then primarily I sell high-end clothing and fashion. I sell both women's wear and men's wear, and this ranking that you see here is ranked from my highest price items to my lowest price items. So these are my most valuable goods in my store. And you can see these items do have nice pictures, and we can go in and look at each one of the items that I have for sale here. So here is a women's Ralph Lauren purple label suit set, and these originally cost probably $2,000 to $3,000 new, and so I sourced it for about $20 and selling it for $359. I will take a best offer, so if somebody comes in with but here's the listing, and we take plenty of pictures, and people can zoom in on pictures and all that good stuff, and description of the item. So within my store, I do clothing, I do some industrial equipment that I mentioned, I do a full range of high quality merchandise. So in men's shoes, I own, I think, some of the best brands you can buy. So we have Gucci shoes, we have Versace shoes, we have Prada shoes, we have Santoni. So a lot of these items sell for $500, $600, $700 new, and you can see we're selling them at a fraction of that price. And in many regards, they're in excellent condition. So you can look at these Santoni, and these are an Italian shoe, and see all the pictures, and see the quality, and obviously these have barely been worn. So we know a lot about shoes. And if you sell shoes, you're going to have to know the best brands as well. Okay, so all pretty pictures, and here's Dolce & Gabbana shoes, here's some Prada shoes, Hugo Boss, Santoni again, Salvatore Ferragamo. So a lot of these shoes, $300 to $800 or more. We have some exotics, crocodile, alligator, ostrich skin, all kinds of different varieties. So if you go into clothing and become a shoe seller, I strongly suggest you understand what is the most attractive, in-demand fashion shoe today. And hopefully you can source that shoe at a low price and sell it. So most of these we buy less than $15 a shoe. And, so you can see the profit margin we have is fairly good. Okay. But it's hard work sourcing it. So there's some sneakers, but it's a size 17 sneaker. So big shoe. Okay, so that's one of our stores. Here's another one of our stores that's in a niche. So we feed the niche of genealogy. And so hopefully this will come up. So we sell things like stickers that allow, I mentioned that people like to brag, right? So this feeds that ability to brag. They can put a sticker on their car saying they are a Jamestown descendant. They're a descendant of Patriot. And what this is somebody who's a member of Sons of the American Revolution or Daughters of the American Revolution. And so I have special groups I've created for that. I'm in 17 different lineage societies. I'm in the Mayflower Society. I'm a descendant of a Mayflower pilgrim. And so I feed that niche. We sell customized stuff, t-shirts, personalized, made in America, since t-shirts, posters, plaques, more t-shirts, tote bags. And so these are items that we make and customize to feed our niche. And so I also have a Facebook group with over 8,000 members in it. And so most of those people know about the products that I sell. Certain of these little chart things, you say, well, that's pretty insignificant. Well, some of these I've sold 1,000 of them or 2,000 of. So it could be, you'll never know until you get into your niche of what is the highest demand item. But so this is our niche that services people who are interested in and people who are into genealogy are very passionate. So I created a group on Facebook, very active group, and then I created a channel on Facebook, and then I can run ads out of that channel. So this is Brian French's genealogyradio.com Facebook page, and then I can create these boost posts, and you can see this is a post that I spend like $5 a day on. I sell this product. But these have been terrific ways to sell. I could sell this directly off of a website, not go through eBay, but people trust eBay, so I use it. But so I can sell stickers through these boost posts, and via Facebook you can target an audience. So that is a bit of my two niches. I'm going to stop now, and in our live broadcast you'll be able to share your thoughts, but if you're watching this after the fact, you'll be able to post your comments and questions below in the YouTube feed, and give me some feedback. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them briefly, but if you need coaching or tutoring or any of that kind of stuff, then you would have to be prepared to pay us a fee and to coach you. So that is a possibility, but you're going to have to budget for that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to message me through Facebook or the YouTube app, if need be, to make contact. But again, please give a thumbs up to the YouTube video. Please like and share with your peer group. And thank you for watching how to make an extra $50,000 a year with your night job. And this is Brian French signing off, and have a great day.